Hey everybody, Jeff Reinhardt here, LMP and Lancaster Online. Welcome into the Week 6, Tyler. Time's flying, Week 6 edition of LL Football Roundtable, brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. Week 6, second half of the regular season starts on Friday night. First 5 weeks in the books, good stuff, including this spot right here. We're at Garden Spot in New Holland. The Spartans are playing great. 5-0, and they have a huge showdown game against another 5-0 team on Friday night. That would be Ephrata. We were at Ephrata last week. Those guys are playing great. So a Section 3 first place showdown right here on Friday night, Ephrata at New Holland. So we thought we would drop by Garden Spot this week and talk all things Spartans. First up, Reed Gruber is here. This kid's a really, really good player. High motor, ticker's always going, can sack you and chase you down. Really good player. Let's bring him in. Hi, Reed. How's things? Great start for you guys. How you feeling over here?
I'm feeling great. Football team's looking great. Great quarterback. Great team just to play with. And I feel like we'll have a couple challenges over our next 2 games. But I feel like if we work hard, get stuff done, it'll be good.
You survived CV. That was a close game. That's CV's only loss by a point. They go for 2 at the end. And I know you were in on that play. To win that game against a sneaky good CV team, how big was that for your momentum, especially the way you beat them like that at the end?
I feel like it was great for momentum for me, for the rest of the team. I feel like that set a milestone that we have to just climb higher than that and do better and get better.
Speak to Kai a little bit. He's like, he gets 200 passing yards and 100 rushing yards every week, and then he goes and throws 6 touchdown passes last week, 3 to you. What's it like playing with a quarterback like that?
It's amazing. I mean, he basically puts it on the money every time, and then they try to adjust his passes, and then he runs for a 60-yard touchdown. So, I mean, he's obviously really hard to prepare for, and yeah, it's great to have a guy like him taking snaps.
What are you looking for out of Ephrata here on Friday?
Yeah, we know their receivers are fast, and they love their fades, so we'll definitely have to adjust to that. And they got a good running back, and their defense has been solid. They got a lot of picks, and they definitely like to run screens, so we'll have to adjust to that. So, yeah, they're definitely a harder team to prepare for because they run a lot of different things.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of defense on both sides. Their backfield, our backfield, we have both very skilled linebackers, safeties, corners. And I just feel like it's just going to be back and forth, punch in the mouth, coming down to a low score like it was last year.
You should not be thinking about Twin Valley. Please don't. Please don't. They're very good. And I know that's next week. But you sort of kind of have to win Friday to get to that game. How cool is it? Mid-season, weather's getting colder. To be playing in these first-place showdown games, it's got to be a cool feeling, yes?
Yeah, it's amazing. We got 2 big weeks ahead of us, and yeah, they're going to really test us, and that's the best part of it, getting into the best part of the season, having the big games, and just seeing who we really are.
And we're back in the studio for the latest edition of the LL Football Roundtable, brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. Thanks to the folks from Garden Spot for hanging with Jeffrey. And we're going to take a look at the halfway point of the season, the regular season. So we're going to take a look at district playoffs a little bit. We're going to take a look at some interesting matchups, one in particular coming up that involves Garden Spot. And we'll get underway with that in a minute. My name is Mike Gross, hosting these proceedings. To my left is Jason Guarente, and to my right is the Rhines, who you just saw at Garden Spot.
There you go.
So we're halfway through, so we thought it was worth looking at districts, but not necessarily going nuts with it because there's a lot of football to still be played. But we have 4 number 1 in 6 classes. We have 4 number 1 seeds and a number 2 seed.
How about that?
Yeah.
20 teams would be in if it ended tomorrow.
Yeah,
20.
yeah.
Anvil's number 1 in 2A. Yes.
Correct.
Couple wins in a row for Anvil. They're playing really well. Made the finals last year. They're ahead of the teams that Trinity, Camp Hill.
Well, Trinity has 1 fewer game because they
played an out-of-state
team.
team.
New York.
All right. Who else has a 1 seed right now? Garden Spot.
Yep.
Would
Garden
be a
Spot.
1 seed. Manheim Township would be a 1 seed. And Why Missing would be a 1 seed.
And Lancaster Catholic is the 2 in that class.
How about that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Of those teams, Jason, this is going to be completely unfair. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Which of those teams is most likely to be a number 1 seed 5 weeks from now?
I'll say Manheim Township.
Yeah.
I mean, I think YO too.
Probably
both.
Yeah, it tells you something about our league. Although if you have 37 teams, you should have in pretty good. You should have a lot of factors in districts. Why Missing still has Cocalico and LS.
And LS, both on the road, by the way.
Anvil Cleona still has Lancaster Catholic and Schuylkill Valley to play.
Tricky.
Twin Valley still has Garden Spot and Ephrata to play.
The next 2
and
weeks.
Hatboro Horsham.
That's
There's
an
a
interesting
scheduling coup.
Week 10 non-league. Hatboro, the Hatters.
I don't know.
Yeah, Twin Valley's got the most interesting kind of trek here. I mean, they got Spot and Ephrata.
And as we said, with Garden Spot, they still have Twin Valley to play. Township still has Wilson to play.
Week 10.
Week 10, but Township, as Jason said,
they're really good.
They're a pretty prohibitive favorite, as dominant as they have been so far. So one of the things we talk about all the time is the cyclical nature of high school sports as opposed to the superpowers every year. Well, the marquee game for this coming week is one that is sort of two teams that are in an up cycle.
Yeah,
right? And they're
definitely.
not necessarily. So talk a little bit, Rhines, about Ephrata and Garden Spot.
Ephrata at Garden Spot. Who had Ephrata and Garden Spot both 2-0 and 5-0 going into week 6? Okay, I did pick Garden Spot to win the section. I thought they had enough back to really make a run. Twin Valley's going to have something to say about that in the next 3 weeks. No doubt about it.
That's a legit team.
Ephrata's been an awesome story. They're 5-0 for the first time since 1995. I was just kind of getting out of college then. And it's been 20 whatever years since they've had this kind of a start. And they're legit. They have good players, and Sam McCracken's a terrific quarterback, and they have speed on the flanks. And the Braden Brown kid has stepped in for Andre Weidman, and he's been fantastic. They're a very legit 5-0. Garden Spot I like a lot too. We were talking off camera about Kai Harding. Drop the Kai Harding numbers,
give us
please.
a little Kai.
Wow.
20 touchdown passes in 5
Already.
weeks, which is 4 game average. 637 rushing yards, which is 500 more than anyone else on the team.
As the quarterback.
As the quarterback. That's insane. I mean,
Now, is that because he's running it 25 times a game, or because it's him and then a bunch of other guys?
there's no one else over 130. He's their most effective rusher. And
They do call a lot of QB draws.
it's not scrambling, it's a lot of design runs.
They'll call that design run play a lot. But then, hey, there's other times when everything breaks down,
And he just
heck
goes
breaks
crazy.
loose, and he's gone.
So David Palapali might be the best player in the league, but this kid might be the MVP of the league.
Well, there's two kinds of players, right? The prospect,
Yeah.
the college prospect, and the kid who has the greatest influence on a high school result, and who has a bigger influence
It
on
would
the
be,
final
it
score.
might be this kid.
Harding might be at the top of that list.
That's really interesting. And
Or
he's,
close to
and he's
it.
not a big guy. And
No.
he might not be a college football player. I mean, that doesn't matter.
Really
but,
good baseball player too. Shortstop. Which is like the number one position in high school sport, in high school baseball, is your shortstop.
Right.
And he's that kid.
And the other thing I want to say about Ephrata, and I've said this 100 times, but I think it bears repeating, is a few years back, the league did this experiment where they realigned in order to create some opportunity for big schools that had been overwhelmed in football to get back on their feet. And Ephrata was one of those, and it has worked.
They've come out of it fine.
It's worked,
Lebanon has not so much. I hate that Lebanon's in another one of these tailspins. They're at 27 in a row with a quarterback switch last week.
And maybe their best opportunity to win has passed this year.
Most likely.
Maybe.
In that section,
given the schedule. All right, a couple of rivalry games, a couple of trophy games, which are a
Trophies.
specialty
It is.
of the Rhine. So let's talk
Love it.
Hempfield, Penn Manor, and by the way, I have driven on 462, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be the champion of that road. But go, Ron.
Yeah, really. Fourth year of that trophy, Battle of 462. Hempfield's won the first 3, kind of big, 101-14.
That's Columbia Avenue, by the way. If you're
Avenue.
if you're scoring at home.
If you're trying to picture, what, 462?
Yeah.
That's the road that separates Hempfield and Penn Manor.
Yeah.
Love that Penn Manor got a win in overtime last week. They struggled. First 3.5 weeks, they didn't score.
Yeah.
They didn't score. and then they come out and beat Reading in overtime on the road. I thought
Must
that was
have
a gut
they
check.
must be getting a little better offensively because they scored a little bit against Cedar Crest, which is a pretty
Couple
good
touchdowns,
defense.
couple of
And then
touchdowns.
put some points in the
And
board.
they got a win, so that's good for their Mo. Hempfield, we were just chatting about them a little bit. Township really waffled them last week. Hempfield needs some wins here. We were talking about districts. They're on the outside looking in right now. They were the 1 seed last year, went to the semis.
Yep.
Hempfield needs some W's because they still have Wilson out there, I think, the week after.
And they still have Exeter and Cedar Crest.
Yeah.
Exeter in a non-league, and Crest is playing really well. This is a sneaky kind of big game here. Hempfield needs this.
Yeah,
They do.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah.
And that's the Battle of 462. Okay, Berks County, this is an actual traditional rivalry about
time.
the two schools involved, Wilson and Governor Mifflin. Jason.
Gursky Lynn Trophy.
Gursky
Oh,
Lynn.
there you go.
As big a rivalry as there is in Berks County.
Yeah.
I would
Who are
put
Gursky and Lynn?
great coaches from
Yeah, I knew that, but I just-
Wilson and Mifflin Pass.
Yeah.
John Gursky, the stadium's named after
There you go.
Wilson. They've played throughout their history no matter what happened, because Mifflin used to be in Section 1 of the LL
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
They left. The rivalry persevered even though Mifflin went to Berks County. Now they play again every year. They used to be the first game of the season.
Yeah.
This is on par with Manheim Central Cocalico in terms of the importance to the players. It is absolutely circled on their calendar.
yeah.
Schools are separated by 4 miles.
Yeah,
Mifflin has elevated its program in the last
time.
10 years. Nick Singleton, Jan
Singleton helped with that a
Johnson,
little
some
bit,
major Division I players. I mean, it's just huge. And whoever wins this game feels great for an entire year and carries those bragging rights until they meet again.
Is Wilson a prohibitive favorite?
I would say, I wouldn't say prohibitive.
Yeah.
I would say favorite.
Mifflin's been playing well.
Yeah.
They're running the ball. and
it seems like they've been playing a
They
little
have some
better,
good
yeah.
kids up front. Wilson's won like three in a row here now by throwing the ball. Hunsicker's over 1,000. I finally got to cover the Gursky Lynn game last year because it was a Saturday afternoon. It is a big deal. Stands were packed and it was rainy, but it was still packed. And they brought that trophy out at the end, and the Wilson kids like went bananas that they had won it, and they're just bum rushing this trophy and they're showing it off. It is a big deal, fun game, and this one should be pretty good. I think this could be a slugfest game.
If there's a theme, it's this. The kids love trophies.
Agreed, 1,000%. Throw
Right?
out the records. They don't care.
kids
They
love
don't care
trophies.
that they're 2 and 3 or 1 and 4. They want to play.
Township Hempfield, right?
Yeah.
Township thinks it's going to win that game, wins the game by 41 points. As soon as the game's over,
Yeah.
where's the trophy? They want it.
They want it.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love the trophy games. There's a lot right now in the LL. A lot of trophy games.
Jason, where are you going?
I'm going to Myerstown to watch Cocalico and Elko. Jake Williams had 133 and 2 touchdowns against Wyomissing. Kept that closer than maybe people thought.
Yeah, they hung around.
So they'll try to do it again against the Eagles.
It's funny how the perception is that Wyo held him in check, 133.
130,
yards.
and that was his worst
Yeah, it
game of the
was-
year. I hate to say that about a kid. 133 and 2 touchdowns. Okay. Like, what kid wouldn't take that?
The kid's phenomenal.
He's
Jeffrey,
fantastic.
where are you going?
New Holland, Ephrata Garden Spot. It's fun. We talked off camera. It's neat to see. It's different. It's a different game. It's neat to see these kids get to play in these kind of big games because it's always Township and it's Manheim.
And these
it's-
two teams, I think right now are legitimate. I mean, it's not like the schedule's going to catch up with them down the road.
Yeah.
Right? They're both
Yep.
good.
Spot's number 1 and Ephrata's number 3
Two of
in
the
the
top
district
three.
district rankings. I think they're both very legit. They both deserve to be here. Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Ephrata
right.
at Garden Spot. I'll see you there.
That's it, gang.
That's it.
It's been fun. This has been the LL Football Roundtable, brought to you by Auto House of Lancaster. For Jason Guarente and for Jeff Reinhardt, I'm Mike Gross. See ya.